there! Welcome to the C.A. Dixon channel, where, as part of me documenting my journey from emerging writer to successful author, I have picked up so much information along the way and I thought I'd share it with you. In previous videos, I've talked about query letters and other materials that you'll need during the submission process. And in this video, I am going to focus solely on book comps, otherwise known as books that are similar to the one that you've written. I felt like this one needed its own video because of all the query materials you'll need, book comps are the most daunting, the most difficult, and probably the most time-consuming of them all. You'll need surgical precision to thread this needle, and it could take months to find the right comps. As one agent put it, it is better to have no comps than the wrong comps. So I'm going to start with book comp don'ts. The most important don't: stay away from books that are too ubiquitous. In other words, if the book is too famous, then don't use it as a comp. These are books like Harry Potter, Twilight, or Catcher in the Rye. Don't use those. You'll also want to avoid books that are too obscure. You'll also want to avoid books that are too old. So you want to keep your targets of books that have been released within the last 3 to 5 years. Which leads me into book comp do's. The main purpose of a book comp is to let an agent or publisher know where your book will be positioned in the marketplace. What other titles will it be sitting next to on the retail shelf? So the first do is to make sure that you are targeting books that have had at least some success in the marketplace. Another helpful do would be to include books that you've actually read. The last do, and this one is a little controversial, is you can use movie titles or television shows as your comps. Think Scandal meets Addams Family, something like that. And I say controversial because some agents and publishers absolutely hate this approach. That's why I recommend at least you have one book, so in case you run across someone like that, you'll have something to submit as your comp. Now I'd like to move into talking about ways to find your comp titles. You can start with resources like Goodreads or barnesandnoble.com or even Amazon and read the book reviews. Bestsellers lists are always a great resource, but be sure to stay away from books that are too famous or that have been out for more than 5 years. Even an internet query can help you find a good comp. Type in what your book is about and see what comes up. Another helpful resource would be to ask a librarian. Simply describe your pitch or a brief synopsis and see if they can come up with titles that are similar to what you're describing. Another great resource is your local bookstore retailer. In my Finding Your Community video, I discussed how important it is to develop a relationship with your local bookstore. And this is one of the many reasons a good relationship with your local bookstore will come in handy. Similar to librarians, your local bookstore retailer could be aware of titles that are similar to your book, and they might even help you out with some sales information. And lastly, ask other writers. I spoke about this in the Finding Your Community video, where I talked about being in community with other writers who not only offer inspirational perks, but asking them for comps could be another advantage. As always, I'm going to post a few links in the description to some web pages that offer very detailed how-tos on how to find book comps. And if you found this video helpful or want more content like it, be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.